covering the story from Southern Illinois that's getting a lot of attention about an illegal immigrant that's been locked up. Good morning, Ryan Burrow.
Good morning. Yeah, his name is Carlos Hernandez Pacheco, and he has been detained since early this month, February 9th, in one of the ICE immigration raids. But Mr. Pacheco is the manager of a pretty well-known restaurant in West Frankfort, Illinois, La Fiesta Mexican restaurant, and now the community is rising up. They would like him to be released. They say he's been in the country for 20 years, and one of the reasons he may have been swept up in one of these latest raids is because he does have a little bit of a criminal background, a DUI that occurred a decade ago. Friends, though, say that he's paid all the fines, he's done all the service that was necessary following that, and he's been living here for 20 years. He has his wife and children, all U.S. citizens here in the United States, and so now there's a letter-writing campaign to try and get him busted out.
All right, so West Frankfort is just south of Rend Lake in Southern Illinois, well within our listening area. One of the reasons why this story is making some national news is that the community voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump to go after the illegal immigrants.
Deep red, exactly. Right in that community, very, very favorable to Donald Trump, at least at the election, and now this seems to kind of run against some of his policies. He's the one who's really been trying to crack down on illegal immigrants into the country, and so, yeah, it kind of puts the West Frankfort residents in an interesting place, but it looks like the mayor has risen up, the sheriff has risen up and said, this isn't right. We need to get this guy out. And many residents have stepped up, too, noting Pacheco's, service to the community, some of the civic foundations he's been involved with, and just the overall character of this manager from the Mexican restaurant.
Now, let's sort of break it out here. This man has a criminal past. President Obama did quite a bit of throwing out of illegal immigrants who had a criminal background. Why isn't Donald Trump just sort of following that policy? Why is Donald Trump being criticized for this?
Well, that's a good question. That's a question that's being, risen across the country, especially with a lot of these rallies and marches. I've been asking people, I said, is it any worse today than it was a year ago or 5 years ago as far as, fears of these kind of raids or people being, ripped off the jobs or ripped out of their homes and detained or even sent back to various countries? And they said, no. It's no different. The fear is still there, but the only difference is, the rhetoric that's being used kind of tamps things up a little bit. The pressure has been added just because of a lot of the rhetoric and a lot of the media coverage. It feels right now that at least the waters have been stirred up, and that's what's putting a lot of people on edge.
Is his restaurant La Fiesta, is it closed down now while he's in jail?
It appears as though it's still open, but obviously there's a big push for him to come back and be back on the job pretty soon.
How much attention is this getting nationally, Ryan?
It seems like it's getting pretty big attention. It was picked up by the New York Times. This story that actually originated out of West Frankfort, Southern Illinois television station picked up on this in mid-February, and it's kind of gained some traction nationwide ever since. He's
been detained since February 9th. What are his prospects? Is he going to be deported or what?
He's got attorneys working hard to try to get him out. His arguments and his family's arguments have been that he's actually applied for citizenship over a decade ago, and he says that no matter how hard he tries to work on the process, his application tries to be just sitting on a desk somewhere and going nowhere. So he says he's done everything he can to try to become a legalized citizen in the United States, and just the red tape involved in it has really slowed the process.
How did he get here illegally? Was he brought in as a child, or did he come over on his own?
Yeah, I don't exactly have all that information. He's 38 years old, and he came over 20 years ago. So he was a young man at that point when he came over. Yeah,
interesting story. Ryan Burrow, ABC News correspondent, talking about this story in West Frankfort, Southern Illinois. Ryan, have a good day.
All right, take care.
741, Big 550, KTRS. Can I tell you about